not only that, I asked myself, what's my passion? Say that with me. Passion. What is your passion? What is the thing that you do that when you do it, you're alive? You know what? Last night, I had fever. I had fever in my body. It was high fever. And you know, on the back of my mind, as I was lying down on the couch of my home with fever, my body racked with fever, I said to myself, how can I preach tomorrow morning? You know, maybe I need to call up another preacher. But then, passion took over. I was inspired by a story that I read that made me say, no, I'm going to preach. I don't care if I'm going to have fever. This is my calling. This is my passion. This is my purpose. And I will preach the gospel. You know what story I read? You want to know what story I read? It would have been nice to tell you, I read the story of St. Francis of Assisi. I read the story of St. John Vianney or St. John Bosco. You know, when they were sick, they still kept on serving God. No, I read the story of Manny Pacquiao. I read an article about him a few days ago. You know where Manny Pacquiao is right now, right? He's training. He's training, I think, somewhere in the U.S. And guess what? In that news article I read, it said there that he had fever. He had high fever the night before. And you know what he did the next day? He trained anyway. He went into sparring anyway. Why? Because of passion. I'm going to ask you that question. What is the thing that God calls you to do that even if you're sick, you'll still do it? Even if there's some problems, you'll still do it. You got what I'm saying? And I was telling myself last night, if Manny Pacquiao, even he had fever, he'll still train because of an earthly goal. Why not me? I'm sick tonight, but I'm going to preach the gospel tomorrow and bless people. Why? Not for an earthly reward, but for a heavenly reward. I want to bless people, and I want to love people that next day. It might be to bless people through your accounting, or it might be to be a businessman, or it might be to be a mother, or it might be to be a leader. You know, I don't know, but you know, and you'll just have to ask those two questions again and again and again. And when God calls you for a life purpose, He also gives you dreams. Everybody say dreams. Now there are dreams. And there are soul dreams. Everybody say soul dreams. Soul dreams. What do I mean by soul dreams? You know, before I talk about soul dreams, I have just one thing to tell you. Don't diversify. Say that with me, please. When you have, it's so easy to diversify. God calls you to do one thing, and it's so easy to be distracted and to diversify. Diversify only when it comes to the stock market. But don't diversify when it comes to your core gifts and when it comes to your passion. Imagine with me Michael Jordan playing baseball. Can you imagine? You don't have to imagine because he really did it. What if Michael Jordan played baseball? You know, he actually did. After winning 7 times in the Chicago Bulls, the whole NBA tournament, 7 times. You know what he did? He resigned, retired, and then he went to baseball. For the first time in minor league Chicago, the baseball was filled with fans. When it's a regular season, there are no people who watch. But just because it's Michael Jordan, fans would come in droves. But all of them were disappointed. Because when they watched, they were looking for the great Michael Jordan. But when he held the bat, he was like an ordinary player. He was not good the way they wanted him to be. Why? Because he diversified. You got what I'm saying? What if Tiger Woods decided to say, I'm so good at golf. My gosh, I'm so good at golf. I'm now bored. Why don't I become a boxer? Yeah, why not? Why don't? I might not be, there'll come a time I'll not be a good golfer anymore. Maybe it would be a disaster, right? Or what if Efren Bata, who's a good billiard player, would suddenly say, okay, I want to diversify. I'm so good as a billiard player. I'll just go to basketball this time and be a basketball player. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a disaster. You focus on what God has given to you. Do other things. I mean, it's okay if once in a while Efren Bata will play basketball with his son. That's okay. But it won't be the very thing that you will do to bless people. The first sign of a soul dream is this. It connects you, or at least it doesn't distract you from your life purpose. You got me? You got me? Okay. It says in John 15, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be given to you. Let me share with you something very personal. I've shared it already in my book, The 8 Secrets of the Truly Rich. But there was a time in my life when I decided I wanted to be a millionaire. Now that was very uncomfortable for me. I shared there in my book how I was so uncomfortable with the thought of having money. I mean, I wanted to be like St. Francis. I wanted to give all my money to the poor and all of that. I did not want to think about money, but a conversion experience happened when I wanted to help people. How many of you have had an experience of wanting to help people? You want to really help people. You really, really want to help. You can't do it. Why? Because you don't have anything to help with. You got what I'm saying? And I had that experience again and again and again. And I told myself, Lord, okay, I want to be, and this was absurd, totally hilarious, I wanted to be a millionaire missionary.
Thank you so much for your monthly tithes and love offering to Kerygma family, without which this broadcast won't be possible. We know that God will reward you abundantly for your generosity. God bless you.